At SpecialEffect, we are often asked what are the options for controllers for people who would like to play with a single hand. Evil controllers are a company that modify standard controllers for single-handed use. Today we will look at some of the controller options and the features available. So today we'll be looking at the Evil LEFTY controller for PlayStation 4. In particular, this is for left-handed people or people with reduced mobility in their right hand. Some of the features are that the face buttons have been moved over to the D-pad and swapped. So it means that if you're holding it in your left hand, you'll be able to access the face buttons and just reach across for the D-pad. Some of the other features are that the stick click for the right hand has been moved over, so it's easily accessed with the left hand. The triggers and bumpers have been added as extra switches on the underside of the arm for the left hand. Optional extras include trigger swap, which moves the right trigger to the left hand side, and the left trigger is then used as the additional button. We have opted for a thumbstick extension option on all of the controllers we are showing. It means that the right stick is now glued shut and you can't use it, but it gives you the right analog stick in a separate housing, which you can then use with your chin, elbow or foot, or whichever you find easiest to access. So the Evil RIGHTY controller is ideal for people who have limited left-handed mobility, and so can just be used with your right hand. The face buttons and the D-pad are remaining as they would normally. The only difference is that the stick click for the left hand has been moved over to an extra button. The triggers and bumpers for the left hand side can also be found on the underside of the right hand side, on the arm grips. We've also chosen an option of having an external housing, similar to the Evil LEFTY controller, to function as our left stick. Again, this can be used with the chin, the foot, etc. If you have the modification, the left thumbstick on the controller won't be usable. So the Evil controllers also do an Xbox One version. This one is an Evil LEFTY controller, ideal for people with reduced mobility in the right hand. Key features of this include the left-handed stick click, that is for the right stick click. Other features include the fact that the face buttons have been moved over to the D-pad and swapped, which means that you can access the face buttons more easily and just reach across the D-pad. The right trigger and bumper have been relocated to switches on the left-hand side. Optional extras include trigger swap, where the right trigger is swapped to the left trigger, and the left trigger is then operated with this button under here. Here we have the thumbstick extension, which is useful if you can't access the right thumbstick. It can be used with different parts of the body, such as the wrist, hand, chin or foot. With this option of the thumbstick extension, it does mean that the right thumbstick will no longer be able to move and will be glued shut. This is the Evil controller RIGHTY version, which is brilliant for gamers who have limited left-handed mobility. It has many of the features of the RIGHTY PlayStation 4 controller. The face buttons and the D-pad remain the same. There is a stick click, which replaces the left-hand stick click. The triggers and bumpers have been relocated from the left-hand side to the right-hand side underneath. You also have the added extra on this one of using a thumbstick extension, which you can then use with your chin, with your wrist, with your arm, whichever you find easiest to use. If you have this modification, then the left thumbstick on the controller won't be usable. Evil controllers also do an Evil LEFTY version of the Xbox 360 controller. With this controller, we have again opted for a thumbstick extension, Trigger swaps are also available to move the right trigger and bumper over to the left-hand side and the left trigger and bumper to the underside. EVO controllers also do an Xbox 360 RIGHTY. This can have the added option of having a thumbstick extension, and you can also have trigger swaps to move the left bumper and trigger over to the right-hand side and the right-hand bumper and trigger to the underside. We hope you found this video helpful. Please look at the EVO controller website for more information about their specific controllers. We have other ideas about controller options for single-handed use. Feel free to get in touch if you have any questions.